What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another Rockets, Hits, and Heartbreaks. We actually have 3 tickets to talk about today, so I'm going to be a little bit quicker with the handicapping and how we got there, especially with the Aqueduct races on Saturday, because we kind of went over those a few times on some other shows. But I will still go over everything. We got 2 winners, 1 loser today to talk about. Let's kick it off. Let's go for Saturday at Aqueduct, the main sequence of the weekend, and that makes me very happy to say because we were able to get this one home here. Let me go to the screen now. I will share this one. Oh, we got Aqueduct in the background too. Didn't change the background. Well, it fits well. All right, there's a screen for this one. I'll get that changed here. So, all right. So the main sequence of the weekend was the late pick 5 on Cigar Mile Day at Aqueduct. We were able to hit this, and there you see the ticket, a $90 ticket there. To get this one, we got a single to start by 3, by 5, by 4, by 3. So a little bit of a different ticket than you're kind of used to seeing us play, but pretty similar to what you see from us. And that $90 range is usually like where we want to stick for a pick 5. So that's that. That was a ticket. I'll go ahead and remove that now, and I'll share the screen, and we'll kind of go through the results, and then we'll go through how we got there. So look at now. Here is that. Okay, so I'll was unprepared for this. I'll take that off. There we go. All right, so I'll put the ticket up on the bottom here now for everybody could see. That's a late pick 5. That's, like I said, what we just had on the screen there. $90 ticket. See, we started off with the single of Julia Shining. Boy, she didn't look like a winner for much of this race, but she was able to get the job done there. So we were able to get through. We went 3 deep here. We almost went 2 deep. I'll kind of explain what our thought process was. But we ended up going 3 deep, and we were able to get home here. Thank God we did, because that was the 3rd horse on the ticket, WHNL, the big win in the Rimson. The go for one, we went 5 deep. Guess what? 5th horse on the ticket was the one that won, number 7, Dr. B. We'll get into that in a minute, how we got there. And we'll go on here. Mind Control, we went 4 deep there. Guess what? Thank God we went 4 deep. Mind Control was the 4th horse on the ticket. And so you're seeing a theme. Boy, sometimes the structure needs to be perfect, and it needed to be here. Because guess what? We went 3 deep in the last leg. Guess who the 3rd horse on the ticket was? You're looking at it, the 6th, Royal Trice. So basically, our top choice was able to win the first leg, which is good because we singled. And then the last horse on the ticket in each of the other 4 legs won. And so, like I said, I've talked about this so many times on this show. Ticket structure is half the battle, if not 60%, 70% of the battle at times. Your handicapping always has to be good to hit a pick 5. It just does. To win 5 races in a row, you got to handicap well. But your structure has to be just as good. It just does. And so you go down here to the payouts. $90 ticket returns $2,093, and so a profit of $2,000 or $2,003 on Saturday, the main sequence there at Aqueduct. So this was a lot of fun to get this one home, man. And like I said, I'll go through it now. Let me get to it. We'll go to the time form numbers now. So Julia Shining opened up this. This was a dead single for us right off the bat. You looked at the rest of this field. Boy, did it just not look great on paper, honestly. It just left a lot to be desired. Julia Shining, a horse we really love, this debut race here at Keeneland, going 7 furlongs, won by 2 3/4. Didn't start off very well at all in this race. Really not a horse you would think would win one-turn races and still was able to get the job done. We suspected Julia Shining would be into the race more early in this start, would be more like middle of the pack instead of last. That was not the case. If you watch this race, you can tell Julia Shining hated the slop. I mean, despised it early in the race. Just was all over the place. Was not in very good stride. And I thought, oh my God, we've lost this already. Then she had to go like 6, 7 wide on the turn. I'm like, well, she's starting to pick up her feet, but we probably just lost there. Just grind, finally got there. So a great way to kick this off. Got her home. Just didn't like anybody else in this race very well. We thought about Foggy Night a little bit, but just at the end of the day, just didn't think she was quite as good as Julia Shining. And the bottom line was, And you see by the ticket structure, we just felt like we needed to go deep everywhere else. We didn't really want to rely on Zandon, which was good, by the way. That would have been awful if we would have singled him. And we didn't really have anybody in that Rimson we relied on, or felt like we could rely on. The go for one was wide open, and just didn't think it was singleable for that last race either. So Julia Shining was the horse, had to single her, and did it. All right, we went 2-4-7 in the Rimson. These were the clear horses we liked the best, the 2, the 4, the 7. We really hated everybody else in this race. We almost went 2-4. We really thought Tuskegee Airman would run pretty well in here. By the way, these horses ran in the top 3, so they, we were pretty much on par with this one. Arctic Arrogance, just a horse that looked like woke up in a big way last time out. Thought the stretch out would be good. And the WHNL, same kind of thing. Woke up in that second start. Jose Ortiz aboard again for the third straight time. Decided it made sense. We almost went too deep here, so we could go a little bit deeper in that last leg. We didn't do it. We said, Jose Ortiz aboard once again, third straight time. Horse really woke up going a mile last time out. We just thought, we better put WHNL in there. And like I said, thank God we did. As I go down here. And like I said, WHNL the win. Arctic Arrogance really battled, but WHNL was able to get the job done. So we're 2 for 2 going into this one. And the go for one, it was simply, what's our budget? How many horses we can use? I mean, this was a completely wide open race on paper. We ended up going 5 deep here. Battle Bling made a ton of sense. A horse that had won 3 in a row, won a race pretty similar to this last time out. Didn't know about a mile, but, just thought, listen, this horse has got a lot of class. Probably stupid move by me, but I included WW Fitzy. Listen, sometimes when horses get claimed off of Diodoro, they just don't run very well. And that's, 2 races back, this horse was competitive at this kind of level. Just not the case now after Diodoro is gone. But thought, well, I'll give that horse one more try. Self-isolation. I really like this horse's last 3 races. You see here, the horse had been on the turf mostly, and then the last 3 races on the dirt, all pretty good. Jacobson, he's back, whether you love him or hate him. His horses usually run okay. Jose Ortiz aboard for the 3rd straight time. Just thought him at a big price made sense, or her at a big price made sense. Dr. B, 7 horse, ended up being the winner. Just a really consistent runner, and was the 5th horse on the ticket, but it doesn't mean we didn't really like her. It just meant, this is a wide open race, go a lot of different ways, but you see second, in a stakes here, second in the stakes at Parks, won an allowance at Parks, second in an allowance at Saratoga, got beat by Goodnight Olive, a horse that ended up winning the Breeders' Cup filly and mare sprint. So, keeping good company, Oksana, pretty nice horse there at Parks, Boston at Post Roads, not bad. Just kind of felt like, she'll be in it. She'll have a shot. You go up here to the pace projector. It does say it's going to be a fast pace, but, we're going 1 mile. It's a 1-turn race. Going to get to the lead. It projected her. So it's a lot of reasons to think, okay, we'll kind of throw this horse on the ticket. This is one for the guide I did not put on there because I kind of tried to do a little bit of a different thing there. But, I obviously tried to beat a favor or try to beat a short price. Didn't work. We didn't try it here, though, and it worked out. And then the 10 Bank Sting, another one, just a New York bred that just is always around in these races. So we thought those 5 were the ones to use. You go back to the results here. And look, Dr. B ran well. Bank Sting ran well, those 2 horses. But Dr. B just kind of galloped away from there and got the job done. So this one, really, we weren't nervous for most of this because we had it all the way. And that was kind of the theme of this. We weren't nervous for a lot of these races. We kind of had them all other than the single. That was the one you had to sweat out the most. All right, let's go on to the Cigar Mile. And look, we used the 2, the 3, the 4, and the 7, and they were all in the top 4. But, you kind of buy the race at this point. I didn't like the 1 or the 6 at all, so it was just kind of like, okay, let's just try to get through it. Mind Control was the 4th horse on. I just didn't love his races this season. It just hadn't been real impressive to me. If you watch that race last time out at Parks, he had to get moved up but he definitely got fouled, so it was definitely a time you move him up. Charlestown Classic, I know he's stretched out distance, but he just didn't look very good. He did beat Hot Rod Charlie, but in a close race, Hot Rod Charlie usually loses, so I wasn't real over the moon about that. You look at some of these other races, the Carter, he wasn't very good. I realize it's a long time ago, but still, he wasn't close. Churchill Downs, he wasn't close, but talking it over with Jared, he said, look, we're going to single. We've got it in the budget. You might as well throw him on this ticket. He is classy. He is that. He said, if he gets in a close race, he will win. And he did do that. So got to give him credit for throwing him on there. Really liked the ended in this spot. Really thought he would outclass him. He did not run very well. He didn't get a very good trip, all of that. Not just a disaster. Liked Guadabario quite a bit, and he ran better. I thought he took a step up. I thought he ran really well. The sneaky horse that I loved was Get Her Number. A lot of people looked at this and said, oh, man, this is a jump up in class after facing Allowance Company. That allowance race, and you can click on that. That allowance race was good. Ginobili, Forbidden Kingdom. That was like a stakes type of race. The race 2 back was a disaster, but the race 3 back, he ran really well in the Bing Crosby, a grade 1 race. So I was pretty excited about him. Boy, he almost got there. You see right here, he got second. Man, if Mind Control wasn't such a battler, he would have won. But Mind Control just would not let him get by. But Get Her Number ran well. It would have paid even more to get that one home. All right, last one, the 10th race. We went 4, 6, 7 to end this thing. I was really high on the 4. We almost kind of just went like 4, 6 or 4. Actually, I'm sorry, 4, 7. I mean, we almost went too deep here, but we thought, no, you don't have to do that. Let's single Julia Shining, and that way we get some more aboard here. I really thought this horse would run well. The number 4 won 2 races in a row. Yeah, was moving up in class, but wasn't really worried about the move up because had won these races pretty easily. This race kind of left a lot to be desired. 7 Skylander, another horse, won by 8, 2 races back. TriStar Allowance Company, just kind of a disaster from the start. Not a great trip. I thought the horse would really bounce back and run well. Loved the price. And the 6 Royal Trice, I mean, kind of the same reason we put Mind Control in there and kind of the same reason we put Dr. B in there. Just kind of consistent at the level, always around. We looked at this field, and then we looked at some of these other starter allowance fields that he had been up against. We're like, yeah, this is not as good as what he's been facing. Like, these horses aren't very good, and just kind of felt like the horse was going to run pretty well here. We thought the price would be okay, and we thought the pace setup could be pretty decent in this spot. And this was just the last horse on, so we'll give this horse a shot. You came back here and you look at the spotlight, and this is going to tell you, right, his best race of the last 5 earned 100 time form. And even though he was running like 4th and 5th in some of those races, it's like, well, those races came back pretty fast compared to what the rest of these runners were running. So it just made sense to kind of throw that horse back in and give this horse a shot. One horse we left off, which was a horse that ended up being the second choice, was Major Spin. And this was, just a horse that just has trouble winning. I'm scrolling down through here. You just don't see a lot of wins and been in some close races and lost. Now, the deal was running first off the claim for Rudy. And so that was kind of the deal that was scary. Rudy Rodriguez is going to improve the horse a little bit, but just felt, okay, let's leave him off. Didn't really want to leave somebody else off in another race. So this is the one we're going to go against. We'll go down to the results here. You see the 5 kind of gave us a scare. He ran pretty damn well in this race, honestly, and he kind of did what he's been doing the last couple of times, so he couldn't finish it off. And he ended up getting 3rd. He looked like he had the 4 put away, the 4 re-rallies, and then from the clouds, here comes the 6 here with a $22 payout at the end. And man, I cannot remember what Tenebris was paying. I think it was like $800, $900. Don't quote me on that. I can't remember specifically. But so when the 4 kind of re-rallies, looks like it's going to beat the 5, I'm like, all right, we're in good shape. And it's like, uh-oh, look back. Here comes that 6 rallying. And like I said, get that $2,093 payout. All right, so let's now go on to Del Mar. I'll put the ticket up for Del Mar. Let's go to Del Mar on Sunday. Here was the ticket. It was the early pick 5. I'll go ahead and get to the results of Del Mar here. It was the early pick 5. on Sunday at Del Mar, a $96 ticket. I'll go down and scroll down to the 5th race here, give you the payout first. There it is. So $96 ticket pays $953. So pretty solid return there. Not like Aqueduct, but still we're going to take it. Again, I'll kind of go through this one a little bit quicker since we got so much to talk about this week. We kicked it off right. We got that $16.66 winner, 60-cent winner here. We went 4 deep in this race. Got it right. I think that was the 3rd horse on our ticket. So got that one right, and that's a good way to start when you get that home. Here's one we almost singled. We ended up not. We went too deep. We went the 4 and the 6, and it came in 6-4. So pretty good job handicapping here. Maybe could have said, hey, the structure could have been better. Could have singled in that spot, but we ended up getting home anyway. If we didn't get this one home, that's probably a point where I would have looked back and really not been happy with myself. That's where we wanted to, or where we thought about singling. The 3rd leg, we went 3 deep, 7, 10, and 11. You see no stress so far in any of these races. We had the first 2 runners here, and the 11 gets the job done. Pretty nice performance. We'll get into this horse in a minute. 4th race again, no stress about this one either. We had the top 2 finishers again, the 12 and the 13. Get into why we selected those 2 horses here in just a second as well. And then finally, the last leg, Speedboat Beach kind of gallops away from them here. Got the job done. Hated the ride on the 3. I'll talk about that in a second as well. I thought the 3 was the best horse. Stupid ride. But anyway, it doesn't matter because we had the 7 as well. And Speedboat Beach gets it done, stretching out and dropping down in class. All right, let's take a look at, let's get out of Aqueduct there. Let's take a look at Del Mar, how we got to some of these and how we structured this thing. All right, 3, 4, 8, and 10 is how we started it off. It's a maiden special weight here going on the turf for 2-year-olds. 10 had the best as far as form, as far as who has been running. But look, 6th, 5th, didn't really look like a single. Thought the horse could kind of run pretty well here, though. Not the best maiden field ever. And so if this horse was in a tougher maiden field, you maybe pause, but this was not a great one. These were stakes races, but still didn't really show a ton. Paxawap, not a bad horse, though. So your stakes races dropping back to maiden. This horse just made sense. The 8, Ashcroft, a horse that moved over to the turf last time out at Keeneland and ran pretty well. Got 4th, I know, but ran okay. Second start on the turf, coming over to California. I read back aboard. Made a lot of sense there to use that horse. Let's see the foot. I'll save the winner for last. The 3, Carver, second time on the turf. Stretch out in distance, the horse that might like it. Sadler and Rosario. Again, just kind of logically throw that in here. The 4 that ended up winning this race, Flavian Pratt jumping aboard. That was the thing. First time starter for Mark Glatt. Really like Mark Glatt. Solid trainer in that California circuit. Just really, really good. Decent with first time starters. Probably not his number 1 angle or his top angle, but he's not awful with it. But getting Flavian Pratt aboard was the big key to me. I thought, okay, now we've got something. You look in the last year, these stats over here, when Flavian Pratt and rides for Mark Glatt, he's done it 32 times. 34% of those horses won. 59% of those horses hit the board. That's good enough for me. That was a pretty good sign this horse could run. So we're able to get the job done there, like I said. Go back up here to the results. The 4 wins it, the 10 second, so the 10 dropping out of those stakes races. Ran pretty well, and looky there, the 3 in 3rd. So we got the try in that race as well, as Carver got 3rd. What did that try pay? Not bad, $70.50 for a 50-cent wager. All right, let's move on to the second race. Like I said, almost singled in the spot. This was the 6 in this race was the horse we liked the most. We ended up going 4-6. Midnight Majesty, the big thing, dropping down in class, getting back to the dirt didn't really bother me. Peter Miller knows what he's doing. And looky here, Flavian Pratt on board. Well, 22 times Flavian Pratt has rode for Miller. 33% of those horses have won. 50% of those horses have hit the board. And also, you got to be sitting here thinking, if this horse could not handle the dirt, was going to suck on the dirt, by the way, had a couple of dirt starts that weren't bad, but if he was going to suck, then Flavian Pratt wouldn't jump aboard. It's not like he's the regular rider for Peter Miller. So Pratt knew this horse could run on the dirt, knew the horse was probably going to win. His agent or Pratt, one or the other, jumped on, and that was that. All right, the 4, you are pressed. I thought this horse just didn't feel good about leaving the horse off. Hernandez jumps aboard this horse. I thought that was a really good sign for a trainer that doesn't have a lot of starters. The horse was third, a pretty good third at this level last time out over this track just 14 days ago. And I just kind of felt like it was a big wheel back and we're going to run pretty well here. Got second with this horse. But, again, if we missed a sequence, this is where we would have missed it because we singled, or we could have singled. We thought about singling. We didn't. That horse won. So in the end of the day, now we're really pressed here. We got to be really good from a handicapping perspective. That first, sequence we talked about, we were really good from a structure perspective. This sequence, we were pretty good from a handicapping perspective. We didn't really hurt ourselves, or help ourselves, I should say, with the structure, but the handicapping was good in this one. All right, third leg here, we went 3 deep. As I just ramble on, the 11 was our top choice. It made sense. Had some starts overseas, came over here, ran at Del Mar in a maiden, got second by a head, ran really, really well. It just made sense this horse was going to improve in the spot, and he did. He ran great. And look, Flavian Pratt aboard once again. Phil D'Amato keeping hot on the turf. That just seemed like very logical horse in the spot. The 10, had some experience at the distance, at the level, had been close a couple of times. Just kind of felt like the 10 was a use here. And if I liked the 10, I was going to like the 7 because the 7 finished ahead of the 10 last time out. This would be the third start in the United States. And look at here's the thing. Look at the improvement from the first start in the United States where nothing to the second start where we really saw the horse run well, got a much better speed figure. Just kind of felt like, okay, one more improvement and this horse is going to have a shot. There's Mark Glad again. I just kind of felt like this was a sneaky one. Thought this horse could get the job done here. And look, got second. Single track 9 ran well, just not as good and not as talented as the 11. That's what that came down to. All right, had some scratches in here in the fourth leg of this. We ended up going with the 6, the 9, the 12, and the 13. The 12 ends up winning the race. I'll talk about the 12 first. I don't particularly like this trainer with first-time starters. However, I didn't like anybody in this race. I thought this race was very weak. I thought it looked winnable for a first-time starter. You look at the works, they weren't awful. But more than anything, it's just like, these horses aren't good. You look at this, you look at the time form spotlight. The best speed figure from a time form standpoint anybody had run was a 69. That's horrible, and that was on the turf. You come down here to the 9, Tenacious Lady, a 68. Just felt like we're going to get a first-time starter home here. You look at some of the other first-time starters, didn't like the trainers much on any of these as well. So just landed on that 12. Thought the 12 was the best of the first-time starters and ended up working out. Some of these horses that had run the 6, Forced Acclaim, improved that second race. First off the claim for Mora. Just kind of felt like, well, maybe the horse can get a little bit better. I guess not first off the claim. First start for Mora after O'Neill had been suspended. So your mind always goes, well, first off the claim when you see a different trainer. No, that's not true. But the horse was running a little bit better. The 9, this is first off the claim horse here. Just had, at this level last time out, showed a little bit at Churchill Downs. Chris Hartman, pretty good trainer. Now we're moving over here. I, just kind of felt like this horse might be okay. The 13, that's the one that I really was interested in the most. Drew into the race. Didn't have this horse on the original ticket, but she drew in. Just getting a major class relief for a trainer who's been pretty hot, had a pretty good year at Del Mar. Ramon Vasquez jumps aboard, getting back to the dirt. I just kind of thought the 13 would run pretty well in the spot. And, not bad. Got second for her. Just couldn't beat that first-time starter. It was just a race, made for a first-time starter. End of the day, probably should have used more first-time starters, honestly, because those ones that had started just weren't very good. You see, the 7 was able to get third, another first-timer. And again, it's not like these trainers were great with their first-time runners, but boy, this was a field that you could take advantage of. So finally, we'll get to the last leg here as I just ramble on this show. But you can do that with handicapping sometimes and talking about what you were thinking. Went 3-7 here. I was very confident in the 3-7. I really like both these horses a lot. I thought Speedboat Beach stretching out to a mile would be okay. And also, boy, just getting class relief. That Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint was really tough this year. Just really tough. Stretching out. Horses by Bayern, say that 3 times fast, out of a Pioneer of the Nile mare. So thought the stretch out to a mile would be okay. Not sure about going much further than that. Ran well, got the job done, ran very well. I really liked first piece an awful lot. I thought this horse going a mile last time out woke up in a big way, earned a big figure. Didn't trust that was like a legit 108 figure. Thought that might be a little bit inflated. This horse really dominated though, but for whatever reason, Mike Smith just kind of strangled this horse. Horse throwing its head. Horse acting like not happy the whole time. Still ran okay. I mean, really disappointing ride, honestly. Look out for this 3 in the future. I think the 3 first piece is going to be one that you're going to want to keep an eye out on. Don't know if the horse would have won. I got my suspicions one way or the other. But listen, Speedboat Beach ran well. Got the job done. Finished it out for us. Like I said, $953 payout. That's not bad whatsoever. All right, let's go to one more thing here, and I'll take this away and let me pull up another ticket. I don't have past performances, but I do want to do one more thing to kind of point out, because I talk about structure so much and how they're so important. We missed one at Aqueduct, and I will go ahead and stop that and show you this. We missed one at Aqueduct on Sunday, the early pick 5. I wanted to show you. So here it is. Here's what we did. We did a $96 ticket. I'll pull up the results as we're talking here to finish this out. We'll go quick. $96 ticket at Aqueduct Sunday. This was the early pick 5. And we missed this. We went 4 out of 5. We missed the first leg, but we did get the other 4 legs, hit the pick 4, but not for very much money. Because the leg that really paid was the first one. So we went with a $96 ticket, and we went 2 deep by 4, by 2, by 3, by 4. Now, the pick 5 only paid $630, but that's still, listen, on a $96 ticket, that's not awful. We should have singled the 3rd leg of this, and I'll pull up the results in just a second, but the original ticket we laid out was 4 deep in the first, 4 deep in the second, single in the third, 3 deep in the fourth, and then 4 deep in the last. So basically the same exact thing, except knock out the 3 in that 3rd leg and then add 2 horses to the first leg, one of them being the winner, the eventual winner of the race. All right. So that's what we tried to do. And it was just a screw up, and it was dumb, honestly. Why we didn't single the 5 in that 3rd leg, I just, hindsight's 2020, you know. So I'll go through it now. I'll go through the results real quick. Pull it up here. Take that banner off so you don't get confused. So yeah, we went 1-3 in this spot, and like I said, just dumb because we had 1-3-5-6, and then we just changed it to the 1-3 because we wanted to play the 3 in the 3rd leg instead of singling. So we lost it right there. And then you see we had the 6 in the 2nd leg. So all of a sudden, you start off what looked to be a kind of a chalky sequence. You could have had a $13 winner and a $16 winner. And we had it. We ended up changing it. We go to the 3rd leg. There's the 5, the winner of the race. The horse we wanted to single. It does help, I guess. The 3 did come in 2nd, so it wasn't like the worst use ever. The horse did come in 2nd. But again, we should have stuck to our guns, singled that 5 there, and we would have had another winner. So you go on, the 4 wins the next leg. Of course, we went 1-3-4, so we had it there. And then 2 wins the last leg. We went 1, 2, 4, and 7. So anyway, like I said, we could have had the same exact ticket price of $96, and we would have hit it for $630.25. So, I know I talk a lot about structuring and how important it is, and that's just an example that I was watching that Sunday, and I had it wrote down on my notepad, all the different things we thought about. And for this sequence, like I said, I had it wrote down right there. So sometimes your handicapping is good, or good enough, I should say, and you don't structure it right. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. And somebody might look at that and say, well, why did they hit that Saturday? And what happened with their handicapping Sunday? Because I think that's what a lot of people always go to when they miss those. Like, I just didn't handicap it right. That just kind of shows you right there. Handicapping was fine. I mean, the horses that you liked ended up winning. It's just your structure was off, and just the stupid use of that 3 horse in the 3rd leg. Even though we hit the 3rd leg, using that 3 ate up our budget, where we couldn't use 4 horses in the 1st leg, and that would have got the job done. So just kind of shows you Saturday at Aqueduct, the ticket structuring was perfection. It doesn't get any better. When you single and you win, and then the last horse you put on your tickets on all the other 4 legs win the races. I mean, that's perfect. The handicapping wasn't great. The handicapping was probably better on Sunday, but the ticket structure was off. So, all right, I've done enough. I've rambled enough. Thanks everybody for sticking with me. If you have through all of that, we had a lot to go over. I do these videos to just kind of highlight little things, little lessons maybe that we can learn, not only just for you guys watching, for myself as well. Little things you go back, okay, this is why we hit. This is why it happened. Or in the last case, this is why you're an idiot, you know? So hopefully you don't talk to you about yourself as bad as I talk about myself, but it's hard sometimes when you look back and go, gosh, I just left, $500 on the table. All right, that's it. Thanks everybody for watching this video, hanging with me. Really appreciate it. Love doing these. So I hope you guys like it as much as I like doing it. All right, guys, thanks a lot, and we will see you next week on Rockets, Hits, and Heartbreaks.
RacingDudes.com is your home for the best free picks for every race, every track across the country. We're ramping up for the 2023 Kentucky Derby, and we want you to join us in the fun. Subscribe to Racing Dudes YouTube channel and click the notification bell so you never miss a single video. Want to make money betting horses? Bet with the Racing Dudes.